Okay, this is the screencast for assignment 3.1. Talk about my 3 web tools. First web tool I'm going to talk about is YouTube. Now, obviously, as we know, YouTube can definitely be a distraction for kids. However, as I mentioned, in our school, there are a bunch of current events. They call them current event assignments, and pretty much every week, about 2 or 3 classes has a current event assignment. So what I do is I allow, like for instance, here's YouTube right here, and one time a couple classes had a strong interest in giant squids. Not sure why, but they love giant squids just for their oceanography class. So they search it, and as you can tell, I mean, you have this area right here. You have problems. I mean, you have things that can distract kids. However, you also have other things right here, like giant Australian, threatened. Why they threatened? Giant squid. Giant squid. They have a bunch of giant squids videos on here. Now, of course, there are some like this one right here, how to be a nerd fighter. I mean, there's obviously some. YouTube's semi-dangerous because the kids can get distracted. There's videos they shouldn't be looking at, and not even that, but just the content. Even if a video, for instance, here's this giant squid right here. I mean, I haven't clicked on it. I don't even know if it's relevant to their current event assignment. So there's definitely some distractions that the children could come across. But on the same hand, I think it's a positive too. You can use the distractions as a positive because it takes them to filter through what's relevant and what's not. They're gonna click on maybe a link that has a giant squid movie that's fake, or a clip from that. Well, that's going to teach them to number one, not everything on the internet is true, and number two, it kind of teaches them to kind of sift through the real stuff and sift through what's needed and what's not needed. Just like when you study, you can sift through the facts and what you need to pass the test, or sift through the stuff that isn't going to help you pass the test. So that's one tool that I use with the kids. The other tool I use is Blogger. Obviously, I use it the same way that our class uses it. So here's our class right here, Technology in Mr. Howard's Classroom. I've posted a blog up there, and it gives opportunities for having comments. And then it's great because it gets everyone involved. I use it the same way for my kids. I'll have my students write up blogs. As far as like I've told you before, my class is more help-based, need-based. It's like with kids with special learning disabilities and whatnot. So I use my blog for sometimes tell me how your weekend went. Share to me something you learned this week. And then I'll have everyone in class, because like I mentioned before, my class sizes are anywhere from 5 to 8 kids, so we're really a tight family. So I'll have all my students comment on their thoughts of the week or their thoughts on something they learned. And it really helps out my kids because I try to promote a safe environment for my kids because of the learning disability. But even so, I still have kids who don't want to talk, don't want to get out and get out of their comfort zone and raise their hand in class, even though there's only 7 of us. And on the internet, your face isn't there, your words aren't there, it's all typed, it's just reading, so it's very impersonal. So it allows those kids another avenue to express themselves. And it gets classroom discussion going on when they get in class. I can talk to them about, hey, so-and-so said this, what are your thoughts on this, expand. So it works out really well. But the bread and butter of our class is this right here called, Google Calendar. That's the bread and butter of this class. And this is one of our kids' Google Calendar right here. And as you can see, it's very detailed, as far as Spanish test study, no school, do the extra credit for Spanish, must finish portfolios. So the way it's done here is I tell them every day the kids have about 10 to 15 minutes to update their calendar. And the way they update their calendar is very similar to, here's our national university, here's our kind of like our web portal, right? Well, this is our students' web portal. Very similar. My course is right here. So like here's my class, right? Academic support class, right? So he clicks on Spanish. This is the Spanish page. So it has each week Spanish teacher update stuff, right? Spanish teacher worksheet, September 23rd, November. So each week they update things. And then over here on this calendar, so let's go back to December. So on this calendar, the red things are when it's highlighted in that red, it means they have an assignment. So here's the assignment, and you can actually look at it where this is their calendar right here. So I have them check this is called their learning portal. I have them check their learning portal, and then based upon their learning portal, I have them put it into their own calendar right here. And this calendar from Google Calendars is synced up to their phones. They have email reminders. They have not only email reminders, but they also have just notifications on their cell phone. You know, our whole thing in our department is kids lose their agendas. I don't have an agenda around here. I thought maybe I did, but the agendas, just like you think of agenda, it's a paper thing with a paper, binder. It has the dates on it, and they use the agendas as a calendar. But our kids, you lose your agenda, but you're not losing your phone. These kids aren't losing their phone. So using this Google Calendar, I'm gonna go back to it. So really showing it here. So let's edit an event. So you click on it, edit your event, or create an event. Doesn't matter. Then you type in math homework. Due Tuesday. So math homework due Tuesday. You can click on what day it's due. You can have all day, or you can even have time when it's due, where, description, and even colors. And then it has reminders, pop-up or email reminder. So if you look back, so we'll just discard this. So for instance, looking at this person's calendar, it has Chapter 3 test. Okay, Chapter 3 test, edit event. See, so he just has Chapter 3 test. So I would tell this student, hey, listen, I'm looking at, and once a week I get with these kids and I look at their calendar. So I would tell this student, hey, listen, you got a Chapter 3 test, but where? Like, what's the test on? Like what subject? And then more importantly, Chapter 3 test on Thursday. Well, when are you going to study for it? You're going to study on this Wednesday? You're going to start studying on Monday? You're going to start studying on Tuesday? You got nothing going on. So when are you going to study for it? So some of these kids, calendars are more updated than others. Some of these kids' calendar, I really stress on, don't use the calendar on what and when things are due, but use the calendar on when you're going to do it. A lot of these kids at this school, we have over 65% of our kids are involved in athletics. So you got a test Friday, but you're gonna tell me you're gonna study Thursday? Well, on your calendar it says you have a game Thursday, you have practice maybe after school. When are you gonna study for that test? Now Wednesday you have practice till 3. Maybe Wednesday is the day you study for that test. So it's all about time management. It's all about organization, and that's really what my class is about. Because there's no specific, like book or textbook. So our thing is based upon organization, based upon participation, based upon study skills, based upon not losing things, missing assignments, things of that nature. So those are my web tools that I use in my class on a daily basis.